Okay, let's continue. On here, you can see that we have a create quote with the quote number, if it needs a permit, and you've got the name and address of the person you're quoting to. Now, we've got quote lines, and we call this the green box. So if you ever call for support and stuff, and I'm asking you about the white lines and the green lines, this is the green lines. Okay, so we have sections of the house. The way it was told to me is for every opening, each opening will have an identifier, location, and then a mark. So a location might be front or side or front left. You can see things like that was left behind. Okay, and that list will always come up based on what you type in. If you type in back, you'll see different things come up. Okay, so we're typing front, press tab, and the markings are usually something that's going to be an alpha sort. You can put in, but these are the things that were left behind. So we'll start off with an alpha. We'll do an alpha, and you might say something about that. A lot of times it's the full description of what you're trying to sell. So you might say it's a left window, and then it's 7 by 7/8 by 12 and 5/8, and then you can describe it, put about a couple sentences worth of data in there, and then we'll click on add. So you see this green box added it to the quote lines over here. The orange button allows you to edit that line. Red means delete. So we're going to go ahead and edit the line. And then you see that now to edit, we're down here. I marked it up here with A, okay? And this is representing the A. So this is how we were able to best use the space. It's one big screen. So you go from left to right in a Z format. That's how people will normally read. Green to white box, hit the orange, over here and put in things. This is your details. So we're going to put in 1. Now, the manufacturer should come up with PGT, and if you need more manufacturers, there's a screen for that. We'll choose one and then hit the tab. Okay, and the product code. If you know a product code, maybe it's 710XO. Those are things that were created for you. What you'll notice here, by me typing in PGT and then typing in something that was created by the other salesperson, and once you get used to this, then you can go ahead and put in these values into another screen and then put in those text values. That way you don't have to type it over and over and over and over. I just got to put some values in there, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, we may want to say it's a 25 by 20, and the hanging might be left. Now, I don't know your business. I don't know the Windows business. I'm a programmer, so I may not know all the right values to put in here, but I'm just going to see how we can guess. The material and the labor, this amount is what your cost is. And we're going to mark that up with an amount, and I'll show you. There's these numbers down here that we use these as this is a divisor, and labor is divisor, and I'll show you that's the actual adjustment or margin. Okay, we don't do a markup, we do a margin, and there's a difference. So I'm just going to put in $100 just to see the values and how they go. Okay, so this particular window cost you from the manufacturer $100, and I'm going to put in $50 for labor, just round numbers so we can see the calculations. Okay, these gray boxes will be filled in once you hit the add button. We do the rounding so that way it's a whole quote. We always leave that checked on. That way you don't come up with $5,183.27. It's going to do rounding. It's going to round up to the next dollar. And we'll show you some ideas about that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the add button. And now what you see is it put it right underneath the first of the boxes. So now you have a PGT 710 $100 is what it cost you. This is what you're going to have the installer, where the installer is going to charge you. And then you can see here, the actual material that you're going to charge the customer is $152.85, and the labor that you're going to charge to, you're basically going to make a few dollars off the labor, okay? And then if there was a referral, that would be a markup instead of a margin. And then you can see this is what we're charging the customer. So with all these two numbers, they don't add up perfectly to be 220. We're doing the rounding over here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open up a calculator. Bring up a calculator here so you can see it. And then we'll scroll down a little bit to show you these divisors and stuff like that. So you can see here, the material, the divisor is 70%. So if you would have had $100, and let's say you would want to make a markup, okay, of 30%, that's a markup. We're working with margin. There's a difference. You would make $30, okay? Here, you can see the material, we're making $50, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and clear. I'm going to put in that same $100, and I'm going to divide by 70. I want to get 142. So, and then of course there's tax. So let's go ahead and times that by 1.07 equals 152.85, right on the money, okay? We're not worried about the actual beyond the cents in this case, okay? So let's keep that in mind. I'm going to bring up Notepad and then just put that down here, okay? So we had a material was $100, then we did a divisor of 0.70, and then we times 1.07, which is a tax. And then it came to 152.85, okay? Now we're going to do the same thing for the labor. 50. You can see here that the labor divisor is 0.75. You can change these values, and when you change them, it'll change here. So there's a trick behind that, and I'm going to show you that. So let me see if I can go back to my Notepad, go back to my calculator, and I'm going to do a divisor of 75. Now, when it comes to labor, because it's not a product, labor, we're not charging tax. So you can see it's 66.66 when we chop off the pennies. So you have there for labor, 66, okay, for labor. Now, let's add these two up. 152.85 plus 66. Well, you can see that it doesn't equal 220. It's equal to 219 and 51 cents. The reason for this is because we wanted to be able to give you nice round numbers. And if you're trying to get into, let's say your quote comes to $5,001, you can tweak it a little bit, and we'll show you how to do that. Okay? So that's why we're at that amount. You see 220, so we round it up. And We're doing that per line. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add another one, and then I will choose a second manufacturer, Class Pro, and now if you hit the value, there's nothing stored with the letter P. Let's try something else. I don't know what so I'm going to put in window 1. Okay, it's not stored in there, but I showed you on the last time that by pre-setting up these windows and doors, it'll help you out, and you don't have to save it. So I'll type in a 100 by 75, and you can put in fractions and stuff like that. It's not going to use these for any calculations, but it's just for your purposes, so you can put it on the quote. And then hanging by the left, okay? And then put something here meaningful for the report, okay? Again, once you set these things up, then you don't have to do it again. So I'm going to put in here $1,000, and the labor is going to be $400, and I'm going to go ahead and hit add. Now it's the same concept, just an extra zero. You can see now it's $2,062. So I don't round it up to 100, I round it up only to the dollar. Here's your quote, total quote so far. If you add this amount, this 222, let's go ahead and show you to do that. I'm going to click here. So we've got, so far we've got 220 and 2062. So if you did that off your top of your head, you'd say, like, that's $2,200. That's what it shows here, okay? But if you scroll up a little bit, there's also a permit admin fee, okay, that you guys use to get the permits, or you use someone who's standing in line to create the permits. So there's $500. I don't think it costs you $500. That's what you charge. And I think you probably, depending on the amount of windows and stuff like that, amount of work, you probably pay half that. So you're making some money off of that too. And the permit, it says here, permit will be shown printed on the bottom of the screen. It just happens to be the first one because when we first came in here, it was already there, okay? And that's because we use permit. If we do not need a permit, we can always delete it. But if this is marked as yes, it'll add it back on the next time you refresh the screen. Now, if you needed to refresh the screen, you can always click the refresh button. So sometimes you'd be entering something, deleting something, changing the prices, like down here at the bottom, you're changing things, and you're like, it just doesn't add up. So come over here to refresh, okay? And it will recalculate the screen for you, just to help you out with that, okay? But by us hitting the refresh, you can see our quote lines. There's nothing there. So how do we get back? So we have to click on this orange button here. And what I did is I quoted 2 items in this Mark A. This is not very common, or it's somewhat common if you have maybe a 3-piece window. Then you quote them together. But what you would normally do is for every opening, you would go ahead and quote every opening. So you would most likely take a drawing of the shape of the house, and then go for every window that they're putting. I think you actually would put every opening. So you start with A, B, C, go all the way around the house, and if it's just 2-story, go all the way around the house. You might have a 2A and a 1A. That's okay. If it's just a 1-story, then you could have A. But if you're going to do a 2-story, go ahead and definitely put in 1A, 2A, because it'll sort alphabetically. Okay, so just so you know, then we'll go ahead and create a new line. But because I clicked on the orange here, it put it in edit mode. You can see it's an update. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here so that I get out of that edit mode. And now I want to put in maybe a back a back nook, and then I'll call that B. Okay, and then we'll say this is a 100 by 75 door. Whatever is going to make it good for your quoting system. And then I'll click on Add. Okay, it added it here. There's no price here. You can see I don't have to like click on the edit. I can go right in here and start typing. I may have showed you to click on edit when you first are editing. Maybe we hit cancel. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't hurt the program if you click on that. But if you want to go back to A, you have to click on A. So here we're in B. Okay. If you first created the green, once you create the green and it puts it in here into the white space, it's going to automatically choose this space for you. Okay. The new button here is if you're putting in some values and you want to clear it, put a new one in there, you can cancel, hit new, whatever. All right, I'm going to put in 2 windows. Manufacturer is going to be PGT. And the product code is going to be, I don't know, let's pick something. Okay, and then you can put a size or not a size. You can see there's a size already description there. So you might just go ahead and put in the sizes if that helps you out. And then I might put it left. I might charge, nothing for that. I might charge $20 for that and $10 in labor. I don't know your products. You're going to have to put those values in there and then click add. So you have one item. So you might choose to put the door, then the mole bar, and then a top window or something like that. So you might choose to quote those all in 3. If you're looking to detail it out so you can show every single item on there, then each one would be there. So, but we're going to see that when we go to print out and stuff like that. Now, you can add pictures. You should be able to choose a file. And I don't think I have any pictures. I have videos I'm starting to create for you, but I don't know if I have any pictures. Windows. There's some pictures. So I can pick a door, open, and then I gotta shrink it down a little bit. So I just use my mouse to shrink it down, And then if you had to put in manufacturer, a lot of times we might actually have pictures stored, but we don't at the moment. And then I can go ahead and crop it. And then when I like it, hit the green check mark, and it saves it. So it should be up here on my quote. Now, when it comes to these margins, we're going to come back to that. But right now, if we look at our quote, we're at 2870. And we're like, I would really like it to be something more round off. Well, you can change your price a little bit. Maybe you might change your permit, your permit here. We don't charge a markup for the permit, and we know that your permit is not going to cost you $500. But this is, you might choose to edit it. And you can see down here, when I hit the edit, over here, it says 375. I don't even know if the 375 is a hard true number. It might be less. I'll click on edit here. Now I can see the labor here is 375. So if you were looking to maybe reduce your amount by $70, you have to tweak it a little bit. You might choose to put 300, update, and then did it work? 300, okay. And permit admin fee. Now I might hit the refresh. And I don't think it seemed to have worked, but I'm going to hit refresh again. I don't see anything. All right, well, we did reduce it by something. See, it says 300. It's the calculation either didn't take or something. So we're going to come back to that. The quote is still 2370. No, actually, it was 2870, and the little thing here. So I think it does add it back, but I'm going to try to go back to the home page, view my quotes, and you might have to click the sort here to find your quotes. I think we were doing it in descending sort. That's why the RQT comes up. We don't have any maintenance agreement to make further modifications to the program. That's expired, but we could always open up a new contract to make more changes. But if I want to go ahead and edit the quote, I'm going to show you that in another video.